Good afternoon, good morning, depending by where you're watching from. And this is 360 degrees, East London 360 degrees. It's me again, Pumlani. Namhlanje I'm coming with something different, something that is dear to my heart in Tetang heroes of South Africa that have done something amazing in the world, that have changed the landscape and the mindset of abantu. When Zaqala Tetang Utatu Hamilton wazalelwa kuCendane kulali zakhona ingathi kusengcingane baniphazami wahamba ke utata after epase standard 6 he went to Cape Town eyofuna greener pastures. So in Cape Town he worked as a gardener. He was spotted by a man called Dr. Kotze, and he became a helping hand in his vet in UCT. Now he had particular skills, Lotata, even though he was not an educated doctor. He never even went to matric, not alone becoming a practitioner or PhD and all of those things. He, from there, was spotted by Christian Barnard. Christian Barnard saw that this man is skillful. There's something that he was doing in terms of he did the stitches and stuff like that. So when there was a time or a chance to do a heart-to-heart human transplant, he did it. And you can go research about him. He was a person that was not put on the newspapers during the time. Mdomnyama, he never went to school, and he was teaching doctors who are going to school on something that he was not educated in. Imagine, it shows the skill. But we need to look and say, wow, South Africa has created people who are great. So I would love to give flowers to that gentleman. I've never met his family, I've never met him. There's something very special about him that Christian Barnard, when he talks, he says he couldn't do a liver transplant, but Hamilton did it. So liver transplant is apparently one of the most difficult things. Now, in the is that we did not give him his flowers as a community, number one. Number two, we should have learned from someone like that. Now, to my next person, Saul Kesner. I used to work for him, one of the most innovative, most clever people, clinical. He's a South African. If you look his work, you go to Sun City. He created a resort in a dry land, and he did a man-made island. Imagine, this is when Sun City was built. This was back in the day. So when he moved to Dubai, before he went to Dubai, I think he went to America, but when he went to Dubai, he created something called the palm. So when you're standing on top and you're watching below how a palm looks, you'd see that it's actually palm tree that was done in the ocean. So Saul Kesner, he was a visionary, he was smart, he was articulate, and he was a South African. Third person, Usiamtanda Kolisi, what he achieved with rugby. No person has done it, which is a black. There's no black person in the world to lift up Webb Ellis Trophy, and he did it twice in a row, and it comes from Transkei. Now, this tells me that South Africa is far and beyond than any other countries, but Tina bantu balapha South Africa, we don't realize those things, and we're not joyful, we're not happy. Lastly, before I go, I want to talk about the minerals we have. South Africa has about 80% of the world's platinum. So which means the world depends on South Africa for platinum. If you look at something called lithium is used for rechargeables in batteries in electrical vehicles. South Africa has got about sitting at number 7 in the world in terms of gold. So this talk that South Africa is poor should come to an end. And we're teaching our children there to believe Ndobana is poor in South Africa. That's a statement that I don't want to agree with. Well, I'm going to leave it here for today. But we should look at those people. We should look at guys like Elon Musk that started in South Africa. Now they're the richest people in the world, and they're changing the landscape of the world. He's a South African. You look at Mark Shuttleworth, he's a South African. He's changing the world. There's many others. There's many more. So I think it's high time South Africa needs to wake up, and they need to stop looking and undermining other South Africans who are doing great things. I think that's one of the things that the colonial mindset brought to us. Well, next time, before I go, I'll be speaking about the Portuguese, the part they played in the slave trade. How did Dutch East India Company get so rich? They were sitting at $78.9 trillion if you look at it in money of today. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about the Portuguese. We're going to talk about the sub-Saharan Atlantic slave trade and what part these countries played in ripping our minerals off and putting the mindset in our mind as Africans as if we're stupid people. See you next time. Remember, Thursdays I'm locking it in. Please join me. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Thank you very much.